What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see back behind me. I've been out here all day long doing some jelly testing and a few other things. Been some really nice weather out here. Unfortunately, I'm starting to lose my sunlight fast. I probably got time for one more, so I'm gonna make it what should be a very interesting 45 ACP test. So as you can see, the jelly contraption's been out here all day hard at work. We got the chrono and I got 2 blocks of gel. Now I've done a couple of tests in this far block. I'll leave some links if y'all hadn't seen those, but this first one's completely clear other than just a couple little stragglers that peek their way in there. And as you can also see, like I always mention lately, I'm using the heavy clothing barrier, which is a layer of denim, a layer of fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt material. And what we're checking out on this one, as y'all can probably see by the thumbnail, is something that should be very, very interesting. We're looking at this Winchester Ranger T-Series again in 45 ACP, 230 grain. But what we're checking out here is the difference between 2 different iterations of the projectile that's loaded into these. Y'all know I've tested this 45 T-Series in bare gel and it performed very, very nicely. And I've had this on the list to test through the cloth, but something came up that kind of changed things around. The same mic that sent me the Underwood Extreme Defenders in 45 ACP from the test y'all probably already seen also asked me if he could send me some of these T-Series, and he mentioned that they had the 8 pedals and he had noticed that the ones I tested only had 6 pedals. So I said, sure thing, send them on. I knew there were different versions throughout the history of these rounds where they had changed them up, different pedals, different jacket material, but all I thought I had were the 6 pedal ones that I had tested before. But as you can see plainly here, these are the ones I had, 6 pedals on those. You can see the size of the cavity, and then if you compare them to these, those are plainly 8 pedals and they've got a larger opening there. So definitely a different projectile design. Now come to find out, when I got these from him, I went to gather up my stuff and get ready for the testing and all, and actually I only had 1 box that had these 6 pedals. The other 2 boxes that I have of this, same exact model number, part number, SKU, same exact everything, they are actually the 8 pedals. So I've got 2 boxes of the 8 pedals and I only had 1 box of this 6 pedal, and it just happened to be coincidence that that's the box I grabbed to do the testing that I've done so far. But as y'all can see, they're exactly the same. I mean, the same exact SKU, the same exact RA45T. They have the same exact ballistics on the back here. These, from what I can tell, are the exact same rounds other than the actual projectile. And it's really strange that that 6 pedal is even in these boxes, because I'm not going to go into the long history of it because there's a long history. But if you check out the wiki on the Black Talons, you can see it gives you the entire history, all the different versions. They went from the Black Talons to the Ranger SXT, which is basically what this is still. I believe when they switched over to this, the 8 pedal, this was still the SXT from after the Black Talons, and I think they just put them all in the same box. I think these 6 pedal SXT rounds that they had, they just put them right in here because those SXTs turned into the T-Series, and then apparently they changed them to the 8 pedals. So anyway, what I'm going to do today, the purpose of this obviously was to see how these do through cloth in the 45, which I thought it was just going to be the 6 pedal. So now the purpose of this mainly is going to be to see the difference between the performance of these 6 pedals and the 8 pedals. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use 1 barrel to start out with, this 4 1/4 inch Taurus Commander. It's right in between a full size and a little officer model if you've got one of those in a 3.5 or whatever. So 4 1/4 inch barrel. The only reason I'm only starting out with 1 is because I don't have but about 16 of these rounds of the 6 pedals left, because like I said, my other 2 boxes are 8, so I didn't realize I only had a little bit of this left. So I can't do multiple barrels and do the 5 round averages. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with this one. I'm going to do my 5 round averages on both, and we're going to test them in the gel. If something crazy happens where they don't perform or they do, either way, I'll probably fall back and we'll try a couple or at least another barrel or at least multiple shots. But we're just going to play it by ear from here. So now that I got all that long explanation out of the way, let me get all this stuff set up and let's check them out. All right, let's check out the speeds on these things, y'all. I'm gonna do a 5 round average with each one of them. I'm gonna start out with the 6 Talon version first. I got a feeling they're gonna be basically exactly the same, and I'm hoping they are, because that'll make things a lot easier to figure out once we get to the jelly part as far as adding other stuff. So let's get the 5 round average on these 6 Talon versions. .846, 845, 831, 832, and 837, so pretty consistent on that. Let's check the average. All right, so our 5-round average from the 6 Talon version is 838 feet per second, and that thing only had an extreme spread of 15, so that's some very consistent stuff right there. I don't think I mentioned, but the box I believe is claiming 935, so we're about 100 off from the box. Obviously, I'm sure that's out of a 5-inch barrel, but let me get this reset and let's check out those 8 Talons. All right, let's check out this 8 Talon version. I expect to see, like I said, basically the exact same thing here. I'll be very surprised if there's much difference at all. Well, let's see what we get here. Well, we got 823, 837, 843, 827, and 837, so almost exactly the same from what I can remember. Let's go check it out. All right, y'all, the 5-round average that time was 833 feet per second. 833 on the 8 Talon. If you remember on the 6, it was 838, so you're talking about 5 feet per second difference between them. Virtually none. This is gonna give us a really good comparison to see which version of this projectile performs better. Let me get this reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's extra Talons jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each round down there into the gel for now. We're gonna start out with this 6 Talon first and see what it does. All right, not quite sure where that one went. Let me go down there and check it out. All right, y'all, that ain't looking too swift down there, and I gotta say, I ain't a bit surprised. Now, I've just come to realize that these T-Series do not like cloth. That cloth just completely shuts them down. We've seen it in the 9mm, and now I'm seeing it right here on this first round in the 45 ACP. So, but let's see, maybe these 8 Talons has got the magic touch. Let's see what we can do here, y'all. Fingers crossed. All right, I believe that thing ejected and landed right back in my chamber. All right, I think that was a good one though. Let's go down there and check it out. All right, y'all, we got a definite difference out of that one right there. Although it still did not perform like it fully should have, it still didn't get complete expansion out of that. It is sitting down there backwards though, so the tumbling might have had something to do with it. So what I'm gonna do from this point, I'm gonna send another one of those 8 Talons down here with this same barrel length, this 4 1/4. I'm gonna be honest with you, as far as the 6 Talon goes, I've written the 6 Talon off. I don't even think there's no sense in even hitting it with a 5-inch Rock Island, because that's not gonna open up. Those 6 Talon designs just absolutely fail when it comes to the cloth. So like I say, I'm gonna try, let's just go for right now, we're gonna try another one of these 8 Talons through this 4 1/4 and see if it don't tumble, maybe what happens. Well, let's check out what we got. See, I don't want to send too many because then it's gonna get all cloudy down there. All right, not sure where that one went. I see some smoke coming out the side, so that ain't never a good sign. Let me go check it out. All right, y'all, that round right there actually told me exactly what I was wondering down there. That one didn't expand at all, and it didn't tumble, and that's probably the only reason that first one, that first 8 Talon, that's the only reason it even partially expanded, because of the tumbling action gave it enough disruption and cleared out enough cloth for it to expand. So definitely answered my question right there. I'm gonna give it one last chance though to 8 Talon with this 5-inch Rock Island. I don't think it's gonna change anything. I really don't think it's gonna change anything at all. Well, let's see what happens. I'm gonna try my best to stay out of what we already got down there. I'm gonna go a little high. If I go out, I'll take another one. All right, I'm not sure exactly where that went. I think I stayed out of all the other tracks. Let's go down there and check out what we got. All right, y'all, I said that was it, but now I've done caused myself another question. That 8 Talon out of this 5-inch Rock Island performed fantastic. So now the question is that just chance? But here's the problem. If I go put more to 8 Talons and more to 6, it's gonna fill it up. So I'm gonna run a 6 Talon out of this 5-inch Rock Island also to see if the extra barrel and extra velocity will open up to 6 like it did to 8, or if it was just pure chance. But it's probably gonna just open up another question. It's just a never-ending cycle when you get into all these different rounds. But let's see what we do. I got a feeling that my luck's about to run out as far as staying out of all the tracks. Let's see what happens. All right, I tried to go really high up on that. I'm not sure where it ended up. Let me go check it out. All right, I think we're actually coming to an end here, y'all. That one right there definitely answered the question as far as the 6 Talon. It didn't do anything. Even with the 5-inch, that 6 Talon Winchester T-Series through heavy cloth is an absolute no-go, no matter the barrel length, period. It's no good. Now, the 8 Talon, I'm gonna take one more round of the 8 Talon stuff, because the only question I have left is, did that 8 Talon through this 5-inch open up just out of chance, or is it always gonna do that? So I'm gonna take one more 8 Talon through this 5-inch. If this one's open up, I'm gonna call the 8 Talon good through a 5-inch barrel. If it does not open up, I'm done. I'm done. If it doesn't open up, that means it's just inconsistent. There's no way I personally would count on it. Now, if it does open up, I'm gonna call it good with the 5-inch, and then I'll do a quick chrono to see what kind of speeds we're needing to get those to open up. So, long story short, let's put one more 8 Talon. I'm gonna try to put this low and to the right. I'm really pressing my luck now, y'all. Really pressing my luck. All right, I see a little something on the side. I may have come out the side. Let me check that. All right, y'all, believe it or not, I think we're done with this. It's an absolute mess in here. The good thing about it, every single one of them's their own separate channel, so every one of these are valid tests. There's not a whole lot to see, but I'm gonna take you around and make sure you see everything. I'll give you a quick summary here. Basically, what this boils down to is these are completely inconsistent. It doesn't matter the 6 Talon or the 8 Talon. Now, it looks like the 8 Talon is a little bit improved, but still terribly inconsistent. It doesn't matter the barrel length. 4 1/4 was inconsistent. 5-inch is inconsistent. So for me, what this simply boils down to is these Winchester Ranger T-Series rounds through any barrel length and in any caliber are no good through heavy clothing. But individually, what we got here, the one right here, the straight through, I believe it was that one. It was either that one or that one. It was one of these. I'm pretty sure it was this one. That was the first 6 pedal out of that 4 1/4. I mean, you can see absolutely nothing. Went all the way through the first block, almost all the way through the second block, and it tumbled, looks like here towards the end, and it's sitting down there backwards. Then the next one we took was the first 8 pedal. That's the one sitting back there in the back. Like I say, I'll give y'all some different angles. It's got a bunch of disruption right here, but the only reason that is because it tumbled right there. So again, if you want to rely on something to have the chance of tumbling, more power to you, but absolutely not as far as I'm concerned, because you cannot be guaranteed of that, and I'll show you a perfect example of that here on one of these other ones. So I believe from there was the second 8 pedal I took, because I was curious to see what would happen if that didn't tumble, and exactly what I thought. Went on through here, straight line, nothing at all, no expansion, no deformation at all, just a straight line, and stopped down here about halfway into the second block. So that right there was enough to say out of a 4 1/4, the 6 or the 8 is a no-go, absolutely no-go. So then from there, if I remember correctly, was the 5-inch, the 8 Talon 5-inch. That's the only single round out of all these that actually performed like it was supposed to. It came in, you can tell it opened up almost immediately. Very nice disruption. Got that nice spiraling action from the Talons, and it's sitting right here. Got some nice expansion on it. You can see all the Talons opened up really nicely. So that, like I said, was the one and only round that performed like it was supposed to. So then from there, we had to find out if the 5-inch would do anything for the 6 pedal, Sent one in there. It's one of these straight lines again. I think it may be this one up here. Completely straight line, no expansion, no deformation, no tumbling. It didn't do anything at all. And then to round it all out was that one final 8 Talon through the 5-inch to verify if that 5-inch would give consistent performance with the 8 Talon and have it do like this. And it was a total fail. It's in the back. I'll show it to you. It looks just like this partially peeled back one of the 4 1/4, the very second round we put down here. So like I said, that right there was enough for me to say no way to these T-Series in any kind of heavy cloth whatsoever. They're a total fail for me. But really quick on the penetration here, if I can kind of separate them and remember, I will. We got a couple, I'll go through the 8 Talon ones here. We got one at 18 inches. We got one at 16 inches. We got one at 21 inches. And then this one that actually did perform like it was supposed to is exactly 15.5 inches. For the 6 Talon ones, I mean, they all went the distance. I mean, you got one out here at 23.5. This one out here is 28 inches. I think we sent one more of those. Either way, like I say, you got 18, you got 21 right there. Just the ones that didn't perform well, just all over the place. But let me see if I can give you some different looks of the separate ones, and then we'll pull these projectiles. Right there, that's the one that performed like it was supposed to. You can see absolute beautiful performance, perfect spiraling wound action, carries through the gel. Right there it is, and you can see definitely expanded very, very nicely. The other ones down here, you can see there's 2 there, no expansion and no deformation. There's one down there turned around backwards, no kind of expansion. And then your 2 8 pedals that almost thought about doing something. This was the first one. That's the one that tumbled. You can obviously see all that's from tumbling right there. Carries on into the second block, and there it is sitting backwards. And you can see just barely peeled back maybe 2 or 3 of the little Talons, but we'll pull it here and take a closer look. And then the other 8 pedal that partially performed, that was the very last one we sent through the 5-inch to verify if it would look like that other 5-inch to perform so nicely. And as you can see, that's a definite no there. Not even close to what that other one looks like. And you can obviously tell why. When it tumbled, it was too late. It dumped all that cloth out. But then if you look back up here, look at all the cloth that got dumped out of here. And it had no problem at that point expanding. All right, y'all, let's take a quick look at these projectiles. I won't go into great detail like I do some of the time, but we'll look at a few of them here. So right here on this side, these are the 2 6 Talons that I sent down here. This one in the front, that's out of the 5-inch. This one in the back, out of the 4 1/4. You can definitely see the difference. That extra velocity did try to help it out. You can see which ones opened more. Obviously, the 5-inch on the left. All of these things got all kind of cloth in them, I'll say that for sure. But either way, even that 5-inch could not get the job done. These things just cannot clear the cloth out fast enough to get these things expanded like they're supposed to. Moving on down, all 4 of these are the 8 Talons. These 2 right here are out of the 4 1/4. These 2 are out of the 5-inch. As you can see, again, same story. The extra velocity does help it, but it does not get it where it needs to be. As far as this 4 1/4, I mean, that was a complete fail. That was a 100% fail. And this one right here, what is that? 50%? Yeah, 3 out of, well, 3 less than 50%, I guess, if you want to count the Talons. 3 out of the 8 Talons opened up. And then here on the 5-inch, this one right here, absolute perfect performance right there. If you could get every one of them to do that right there, this round could not be touched. Absolutely fantastic. Just look at that. You got all those Talons sticking out, absolutely perfect. It cleared the cloth out just like it was supposed to. The lead came with the jacket. Again, if you could get them all to do this, this is a winner of a round. But then here you go, a perfect example of the problem. This one was also out of the 5-inch, and you got what, 1, 2, 5 out of the, not even full expansion on 5 of them, just about, I mean, I would call it what, 60, 70% performance maybe. You know, and like I always talk about, any of these things would put some holes in stuff and they would more than likely get the job done, but you just don't want to rely on something that's very inconsistent. That's my biggest problem with these things, is the inconsistency. So let's weigh them up right quick and see what we're working with. They all started at 230. These 6 pedals here, 229.4. 229.2. The 8 pedals here, you got 229.0, 229.7, and these here out of the 5-inch, also 8 pedals, you got 228.8, 228.7, so you probably lost a little bit out these ones that expanded. Could be a little bit of tolerance, but I can see a little bit of speckles, I believe, in the tracks. Now, as far as expansion on them, I'm not even gonna bother measuring these unexpanded things. There's no sense in it. All I could do is measure the base, and I'm sure they're 4.52, so no sense in really measuring those. But I will measure these partial expanded and the fully expanded. So the partial expansion here on this one, the widest point on it is 542. This one here, 665. And yes, that's great size, great expansion on that. But then if you measure the other way, I mean, you're back down to 439, you know what I mean? So it's just, that inconsistency just really gets me. Now, this one that did perform like it was supposed to is fantastic. You got 797, 811, and 803. So very, very nice expansion. Just absolutely fantastic performance out of this. And it's just a real shame that they all won't do this. All right, y'all, I believe that's going to do it for this 45 ACP test. Definitely not the results I was hoping to see from these rounds, although I have to say I wasn't surprised. I've come to just face the facts that these Winchester T-Series are not the ones when it comes to this heavy clothing. In bare gel, they all seem to do fantastic. When you throw that heavy clothing to them, they just absolutely fail. But y'all let me know y'all's thoughts on these rounds. I know a lot of y'all were very impressed in the bare gel, just like I was, and probably started using some of these things after you're seeing what you're seeing recently through the cloth. Is that changing your mind, or you still feel like they'll still get the job done regardless? If you did enjoy the video, take a second to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell notification icon so hopefully you can get notified when new stuff's uploaded. Like always, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel. It's getting cold out here now that this sun's going down, so I'm gonna pack up and head out of here. Tons of stuff on the way for y'all to check out as always, so be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.